Morning, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another day, another week, actually, of Flag Friday. The flag seen behind me, the Canadian flag. Really no significance to the video, just changing the background a bit. So you might see different flags hanging up behind me each video with a different background. So you never know what you're going to see. I don't think it'll be a Black Friday clue at all. I don't have no intentions of doing that, but still, pay attention. You never know what I might use. As you probably have learned this week and previous weeks before, pay attention to detail. One thing I was taught in the military, pay attention to detail. Just human like anyone else, you overlook things, you don't see stuff. You might hear people say, oh, I was a snake, it would have bit me because I was looking for it right there in front of me. Pay attention to detail. And that's one of the goals here for Black Friday, to help you pay attention to detail so you know what's around you. Always pay attention to what's around you. So, with that, what do you think about this week? My opinion, I think this was probably one of the hardest weeks, if not hardest weeks, we have for Black Friday. You had to start off with the huge list, number one. And then you had to get down to the end to solve a riddle, to get another riddle, to solve that riddle, and to solve a clue. So, yeah, it was a tough one. Now, I didn't have the intentions of making it tough, but as I do the clues and I go through with the exercise myself, I tend to sometimes make it a little challenging more than I anticipated to. So, with that, before we go further into this week, we're going to go back to last week where it was about the Bolivian Republic of Venezuela, the official name of Venezuela. Gave you a brief, detailed, brief description of the flag and a lot that entailed with it. This week was the U.S. state, and you had the first day, you had 25 states to list out. And those were the first 25 states admitted to the Union. Okay, I think that's the biggest list I've had to do so far. I don't think you'll have another one that size. At least I don't anticipate you will. So, with that, that was the biggest list that you probably had to do all year. Then you had to go through and eliminate the states that had Crown Colony as the previous state name, or the previous name before they became the state name that they are now. And if you looked it up, there were 10 states, I think about 10 states that had the words Crown Colony in it. And you had to eliminate those 10. And then you had the two clues on Wednesday. Those two clues, one of them spoke about a state that was flag of the day and had a birthday that same day. Now, if you look, there were two states that matched that description, Maine and Vermont. However, Maine was also flag of the week. Aha, I never mentioned or said flag of the week, I said flag of the day. Vermont has not become flag of the week yet. As a matter of fact, I just got a request to make a Vermont flag of the week, which will be next week. So I thank you for the request on that one. So you had to eliminate Vermont. And if you did Maine too, that's fine. It's not the end of the world, but Vermont was the answer to that particular clue. Then you had yesterday, which I think was probably the most challenging Thursday you probably had all year, where you had to solve a riddle, to find the envelope, to solve another riddle along with the clue. So it was, I can understand if it was frustrating. I can understand if it was too hard. But the mere fact that a lot of you kept up with it and kept going figuring and knowing that this is pretty hard. The mere fact that you showed me determination showed me that you have a strong heart, you have a strong will. And that strong will, a strong heart will take you very far in life. So never lose that. Keep that up. There's something that some people will say, this is not going to beat me. And they'll keep at it and keep at it and keep at it until they can't go any further or until they get the right answer. And sometimes they'll keep going until they get any kind of answer, whether it's right or wrong. But the mere fact that you showed the heart to keep going, to show the heart to keep researching, to have that determination, do not lose that. That goes a long way. That showed me a lot about who you are when you do that. That lets me know that you're not easily defeated here and here. So even if this week was overwhelming and you couldn't figure it out, the mere fact that you showed me that hard work says a lot. Says a lot. So like I said, never lose that. So after you solved the first riddle, which was on the bookshelf by Mrs. E's office, by the main office, open the envelope, had another riddle, which contained the words Mississippi River, Mockingbird, Milk, Confederate, the Great Mississippi Flood, and White-tailed Deer. Now, the two words out of that huge riddle, was most important was milk and the Great Mississippi Flood. Okay? So, if you just found those two would have kind of catapulted you to the answer. Now, I know there's states more than one that has white-tailed deer as the mammal, state mammal, mockingbird, the state bird, milk. So, the Great Mississippi Flood. You look at the Great Mississippi Flood and you look at the states that were affected. How many states were affected that are on your list? So it's a process of elimination you had to use to get to where you're at. Now, sometimes you get the clue. I'm leaving it up to you to figure out what you do with it. Now, let me also tell you this. When you get the clue, don't be afraid to think outside the box. You might get a clue from me, and if you find another way to eliminate a state or a country, and if it gets you in the right direction, that's all that matters. You can use my clue as a guide. You can follow it exactly, or go it as a guide. But just remember, if you go outside the box, just remember you also have to deal with the consequences, but you also have to deal with the disappointment you may get if you do that. So if you're willing to do that, go ahead. I'm not going to discourage you, but just remember, you go outside the box to try to eliminate something. You know, that's your determination, will sometimes talking, that instinct. You feel like, try something else, never mind, go with it. So you had a riddle to solve a riddle to find another riddle to solve another riddle, and one of the clues was to eliminate all the states that began with letter M. So I believe off the top of my head, I think you had 3 states left after all that. So what state did you come up with? I have the flag right here next to me. I'm going to go grab it, and I will be right back in just a minute. Welcome back. Quick. All right. Here we go. We're going to show the answer in 3, 2, 1. What are we looking at here? The state of Arkansas, or Arkansas, as some people like to joke about it. Arkansas. People from here sometimes call Arkansasians. Now, looking at the flag, it doesn't give me a lot of detail, but it does speak about the stars up top represent the Confederacy. Remember that word that was in the clue? Confederacy, Confederate. When it was part of the Confederate States of America during the American Civil War. And then the bottom stars represent the colonial powers back in the day around the time the Revolutionary War started, or just before. So Arkansas is the answer for this week. To give you a tidbit, the state was admitted to the Union June 15th, 1836, at the 25th state. That's why I had to do the first 25 states. Arkansas. Well, that concludes today's episode of Flag Friday. I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating. Like I said, continue with the hard work. Continue with the research. Keep that will and determination. Keep it in everything you do. You never know. The more you have that determination, you really show it, you become stronger, you become faster, you become smarter, you become wiser. Use it for good. Make sure I emphasize that. Use it for good. Not try to use it to harm people. Use it for good. Remember that. So, and next week it's going to be Europe. We're going to be traveling the continent of Europe. Make sure you have your passports because you might be doing some travel. So, again, thank you for watching. If I don't see you for the rest of the day, I want to say have a good day, have a good weekend. Until then, see you later, and see you next week.